I was born to be a pro wrestler, and I know that now more than ever. It's exciting to keep doing what I've been doing and prove people wrong in the process. Many good memories created in my last run in TNA, and it's so exciting to be back.
What made TNA the right spot for you?
Being in TNA, I can pay back to the fullest extent.
How many times have you won a tag team championship?
I have no idea.
You delivered one of the hardest chair shots.
That was the first chair shot he had ever took to the head.
You fought a kangaroo.
He was jacked, and he locked up really good.
Your autograph looks so different now.
In pro wrestling, I might have the coolest signature.
Yeah, it's hard to argue.
Big announcement. Big announcement. If you're going to be in Las Vegas for WrestleMania 41, I hope to see you there. Thursday, April 17th, we're doing Insight Live from Circa Resort and Casino. It's going to be massive. Tickets are on sale now at cvvtix.com, and I will see you in Vegas, baby.
It's been a long time.
It's been a while.
It's good to see you.
You too, man.
Yeah, and congrats on everything. I mean, the championship's sitting right here, but...
Yeah, it's so cool to be back in TNA, man. I had so many good moments and memories created my last run in TNA, and it's just so exciting to be back.
There's something special about hearing that music hit.
There is, yeah. Even when I returned, it was so weird how everything worked out. I had no idea Matt was going to go to TNA. I finished a workout one morning and went upstairs, and my wife said, "Did you know Matt was going back to TNA?" I said, "No, I had no idea." Then I watched the footage, and I was like, "Oh my God, that was amazing." And naturally, I asked him how it felt. And it's just so strange and bizarre how everything just worked out. When my nose was broke when I was in AEW, and so my contract was a little extended. But it ran out the night before I was able to show up and save Matt once again in the world of professional wrestling, back in TNA.
Yeah, it's perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
And there's something about that music. And I know that people might not know this. That's like a song that anybody can find or use, right?
For sure. I think it's titled Loaded. Was
Loaded.
The original? Yeah,
I remember hearing it in a commercial on it, and I was like, "Wait a second, it's the Hardy Boys song."
What? I saw it on Ghost Hunters, and I just started going like this. I was like, "Whoa, that's our music."
Do you remember when you heard it for the first time?
Yeah, I think I do. We had some wacky music, our first music, and it was I don't know what it was, but I remember I liked it a lot more than the previous song that we came out to.
When did the dancing that you were just doing there, when did that become part of the entrance?
Oh, God, it definitely came from our wrestling daddy, Michael P.S. Hayes, man. When we hooked up with him, because back in the days, the Freebirds, I think he would do like a moon. He would do it and then do a moonwalk and make the tag to Jimmy Garvin. So that's where it came, just the way he goes like this. So I might bust that moonwalk out at some point, man. But yeah, it came from Michael Hayes, man. I just modified it, and it became such a big deal for me.
Now, it's impossible to hear that song and not start to do it a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you seen these memes where people will be like, every time I climb a ladder, and you're climbing the ladder, and then you start to, just the average person starts to hear your theme song, starts to hear the Hardy Boys theme?
For sure. And also when people don't have paper towels to dry their hands, I've seen that before. It works pretty well, man. Dry them off in the air.
What made TNA the right spot for you to land?
I'm not sure. It was so weird when I left WWE in 2021, I think it was. My dad had been real sick. 2017, right after we went back to WWE at Mania, that's my dad. That was probably around the time that he felt good for the last time before he slipped back into this dark depression. But yeah, I'd been taking care of him, man, and it was just bad to where he did not want to be here. He was ready to go. And our mom died at a young age. I was 10 when she passed away. So I've always told myself, I'm like, man, when he needs me, I'm going to take care of him. And I just did everything I could to get him excited about life and all that stuff. So that's definitely when, my drinking had got carried away during those times that I've never really talked about. And WrestleMania, the year 2021 is when I missed WrestleMania because my dad had just passed away somewhere. Oh yeah, April 6th, my wife's birthday, is when my dad passed away, which was strange in itself. But yeah, it just, it got out of control, and I needed something extreme to happen, and it's sad the way it worked out, but that I refused to go to rehab, and so I ended up waiting my 90 days out and showing up in AEW, and naturally screwed that up as well. And I feel so bad about, Matt's position, because now being in TNA, I feel like I can really, kind of pay back for that, to the fullest extent.
What's your headspace like now? Where are you at now?
Oh, I'm super excited about wrestling again. When we had the tables match against the System, and I did the Swanton Bomb off the thing around all those people, it was so similar to me doing it to Devon Dudley at Madison Square Garden, and I was so excited after all that worked out. It was a lot more sketchy because the table was diagonal and it was scary. But it all worked out because that's the kind of stuff I live for, man. I do that, and just getting through that match and thinking about the possibilities in the future and the way I feel. I mean, it's just, I'm so blessed to still be here, and I'm so grateful that I didn't kill myself, through my drug and alcohol issues.
Did you feel like you were ever close?
No, not really. There were times when I would wake up and it was just so, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And I would tell myself all the time, and I never got to the point to where I had physical withdrawals from not drinking. So with that, I was like, okay, I must not be an alcoholic, because I don't get sick from not drinking, and I would be sober for weeks and then give into it again. But then, man, when the DUI started happening, that's when it really got crazy, how much denial I was in. Because, man, I never have any intention of hurting anybody. So the thought of I could have possibly hurt somebody else out there on the road, I'm so sorry for that, especially for people who have lost loved ones in DUI accidents. But, I needed something big to happen, and that's what happened. And I went to rehab for the long haul, and it's exactly what I needed, man. And I've been so enlightened. Like, since there was a moment with the sun, actually, when I was in treatment in Florida, and I was like, okay, and the moon at night, I'm like, okay, there's something very special going on here with me getting sober again, because every time, my second time when I came back to TNA, I had gotten sober, and I was great. And 2012 was one of my best wrestling years in my career, in my opinion. And that's because of sobriety. And to be back in that zone now, approaching 3 years of sobriety, man, I mean, it's just super exciting to keep doing exactly what I've been doing, and, prove people wrong in the process.
And look at the Hardys now. How many times have you won a tag team championship?
I have no idea.
That's great.
I have no idea. I know the Dudleys are
13 between you and Matt, but you've won, with other people as well.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure. I would.
This is great that it doesn't matter. You don't know.
It doesn't, man. I would say 12 or 13. That might be way off.
Well, it's more than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How many is it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Troy can look it up for you.
Okay.
He'll shout it out.
Okay.
But that's amazing, though. So is the way that you approach wrestling just like the match that's in front of you right now?
Yeah, for sure. And I get so excited. I've been watching Rascalz matches like crazy, because we're going to be wrestling them at Genesis this year. And I've been watching like matches from the 80s, man. Freebirds, Von Erichs, Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express. And I'm like, I feel like I'm pulling all of this stuff from the 80s and going to make it cool again in 2025, which is just super exciting. And I'm starting to feel really good in the ring again, like in that tables match. So, and it takes a while, as you know, to get conditioned again after you've been out of the ring for a while. But yeah, it's just super exciting. I'm even doing the poetry in motion like I used to do it, throwing the leg, and it's feeling better and better and better. So yeah, 2025 is going to be a super exciting year for the Hardys.
Do you feel like there's anything in the ring that you can't do anymore?
I can't do a shooting star press anymore.
Well, when was the last time you did a shooting star press?
It's been a while. That Phoenix Splash, that reverse 450, I used to do that all the time, but I never could control it. Like, it was always just a massacre, straight face first into the mat, and people would always move. I could never hit it. I think I tried to hit it one time and completely missed the guy and just crashed.
And that was the first and last time?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And I used to do the 450 from time to time. I don't do that anymore. I don't care to do any of that stuff anymore, but the Swanton's feeling good again, and just other little combo type stuff that I'm kind of seeing, mainly like the way I see wrestling. I try to envision counters, to like unique counters to certain moves. So that's why I've been studying the Rascalz and all these crazy fast combos they do, like trying to find some counters within that.
Who's this version of Jeff Hardy now as a wrestler?
I feel more than ever, and not even like the charismatic Enigma, like the enlightened Enigma. Like I'm so grateful for the gift of life I am and have, and I mean I was born to be a pro wrestler, and it's crazy how it worked out. You know, I had such an opportunity to be a huge wrestling star, man, in my younger 20s, but you know, I just went another direction. And it would be amazing if I wouldn't have fell into that dark place in my life from, you know, drugs and alcohol, to see what would have actually happened. But I've also had all these other hobbies that I just love. I love motocross like crazy. And that I eventually broke my leg in 2015, and that pretty much ended my motocross career. But I just, motocross, and I got into music. I just had all these things. And I never could commit fully to pro wrestling. And that's I guess that's kind of been it's hurt my career definitely a little bit, but again, that's kind of what makes me interesting as well.
Getting a great night's sleep is one of life's finest luxuries. You got to check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. They're inspired by NASA, and they have silver infused fabrics that are temperature regulating, so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. Also, say goodbye to those gross odors. Because they're infused with silver, they prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, so that means you get fresher sheets up to 3 times longer. Miracle sheets are so comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands, and they feel just as good as sheets you'd have in a 5-star hotel. If you've tried everything else, try Miracle. Upgrade your sleep this year by going to trymiracle.com/CVV. And whether you're buying them for yourself or you're buying them as a gift for a loved one, you're already gonna save over 40% if you order today. But if you use the code CVV at checkout, you'll get an additional 20% off plus a free 3-piece towel kit. That's trymiracle.com/CVV.
Well, how incredible is it that you've had a Hall of Fame career as a tag team, Hall of Fame career as an individual, and you're saying, yeah, I really didn't go all in on it.
It is. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I think why I brought that up about my dad, I've never really spoke about that. There was so much dark times, but back in the day, I think Nikki Sixx wrote this book or put this book out called The Heroin Diaries. And I think it was Nikki Sixx. And but anyway, I read that. And so the first time I went to rehab for alcohol, I started journaling every day. So I've got like 5 years of journal entries, man, throughout all the good and bad stuff. And especially that year when my dad was, you know, slowly dying. I mean, I've documented it all. And I started going back through that first journal entry today. And the plan is to like just take my time, and maybe in a couple of years I'll have my own alcohol diaries. And it can be a very powerful, you know, thing for people that are going through tough times to kind of read and feel comfortable with knowing that they're not alone.
During your toughest times, who do you feel like you let down the most? Was it your fans? Was it your family? Was it yourself?
It's, probably the fans, Matt. I feel bad about it because we were a team, you know, we started together, and just letting him down, I always felt bad. But then again, myself too, and it's always weird when I think back to like 2008 and 2009. I was on top of the world in professional wrestling, and just looking back at that now, oh my God, I had the opportunity to be this huge wrestling star, but sadly, man, and it's obvious. I mean, it's been public for a long time. I pretty much in 2009, I pretty much chose drugs and alcohol over professional wrestling, the chance to be a huge wrestling superstar, just because I was scared I was going to fail another drug test or something. And that's sad, what the kind of blur I was in. But I can't dwell on that at all. And that's what I've been doing good about lately. I just don't focus on that at all. I know it is what it is. It was what it was. And I survived and got through it. And now here I am. I have this last chance to really make an impact, approaching 50 years into this life.
But you're not the person that that's sitting in front of me right now if it's not for all of those things that happen. And that's the amazing thing about life, right?
For sure,
If you didn't have these highs and these lows, then you don't become this person right now.
Exactly, yeah. That's so true, yeah. So I think I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and everything happened exactly how it was supposed to happen. And I think that why this book, man, that I started writing today, is going to be extremely powerful and so rewarding if I can really pull it off. It's going to be tough, but I'd set a goal for myself at home with my motocross track, because again, I love motocross, and I pretty much extended our front yard. The motocross track is part of our front yard now, and it is effing beautiful. But like when I started cleaning it up, I was like, oh, I can do this. I'm going to do it, every single bit of it. I'm going to do it on my own, and man, I'm very close to it being completely finished, and it's just gorgeous, man. I fly my drone up and get a shot of it, and I'm so proud of what I've created. And by the end of my wrestling career, I'm going to look back at it and be extremely proud of what I created with that as well, especially through the ups and the downs, and never giving up, and always being so grateful of this gift of life I am and have.
I love when you're passionate about something, you're passionate about it. We see it with you in wrestling. We see it with you in art. We see it with you in motocross. We see it with you in music. What part of your personality is it, do you think, that allows you to just dive into something?
There's a lot of like really cool things have happened since this last time getting sober. One of the scary things that I've always loved, like translating what the music is telling me to write. And even the songs are kind of like journal entries. It's just been so therapeutic for me. But about 2 years in, I was going, oh my God, I don't think I'm that great of a singer. I was like, and this was from getting sober. I'm going, oh my God, should I quit? And I was like, no. And you can definitely listen to my old themes in TNA, like the first, 2 or 3. And I'm going to re-record those. And it'll be obvious that, oh, wow, he has improved as a singer. He's improved a lot. So
people love those original versions.
Yeah, and I mean the new version of Modest is going to be incredible, man. So we just got to re-record them, and that's my next goal in TNA, to where the music, the art, and the wrestling will all kind of be at one with each other. I just need to sing Modest on the way to the ring before a Full Metal Mayhem match reimagined with the artwork everywhere or something like that. And it's so exciting to imagine that.
It's funny, I'll show it to you after, but I got your autograph when I was 17, I think. So I was 2000. Your autograph then looks so different from now. What are the components of your autograph now? It's like it's art.
It is. Matt calls it an artograph. I think that's pretty slick. Yeah. And but it's more of a symbol, man. Like I do these little paintings I sell at Comic-Cons and all this stuff, and they're just, my autograph is in there, and then all these faces like I do. I just get to this day get so much joy out of sitting down and getting into that peaceful zone of art, and I'm able to make money off my artwork now. It's just so cool, because I still love it just like I did in elementary school, high school. I still get so much joy out of painting my face, even because I'm always coming up with these images that I know are possible to put on my face. And a good example of that is when I did a tribute to The Fiend. That just turned out incredible. And I said, oh my God, I've never painted teeth on my lips before. So naturally, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, I had to, show him some love.
What did it mean to you to pay tribute to him like that?
Oh, the feedback was incredible, man. Just the love that, came back from that, and people being grateful of that, because he was such an amazing human being, and Matt got to work with him. Naturally, I would have loved to, but I still watched the little pre-tape we did backstage when I was coming back from shoulder surgery, and we did a little thing back there. I was about to go out with Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, and me, Matt, and Bray did a little thing back there, and I just, oh man, it warms my heart every time I see that. What's
the significance behind each time you paint your face?
It's like a blank canvas for the day or night, and it's not really war paint. I think it's just from the joy I get of, like, I call it my alien skin a lot, just because it's like nobody else's, but because of Sting and the Ultimate Warrior, I mean, that's why I paint my face to this day. But the last time in TNA is when I really took it to the next level, when I'd gotten sober, and I started painting eyes on my eyelids, and I was, okay, this is my deal. Stone Cold had his beers and his middle fingers. The Rock was just so charismatic and great on the mic. And this is what I do. I paint my eyelids, and I come out and people touch me, and they reach out and touch me. And hopefully they feel like I felt when I would reach out and touch Sting when I was a kid. And it's just, I get so much joy out of painting up each and every night.
How do you paint your eyelids?
One at a time.
But it just feels like it'd be.
And I get I don't get
Is that drying the paint?
Yeah, drying so I can put the pupil in there on the next go around, and then the other side. And people come in and out, and it's the best when I can get in a peaceful little private zone, a quiet bathroom. But sometimes I paint it in crowded bathrooms. People are coming in to put hot stuff on or put baby oil on her. And they're, oh my God! And there's sometimes, oh God, you're up next. You better put the house show paint on. Things like that. No, I can't do this. I gotta just take my time and get in that peaceful zone. And every time, and naturally when I see it in action figures, that's when, okay, that's why I do that. That's why I because it's immortalized right here on the toy.
Yeah.
And I get so much, I'm so grateful for each and every action figure that's came out that has the design exactly like I did it on one night. And it's never the same, man. So
are you able to do it if you can't find a mirror?
No, I can't do it at all. If I can't find a mirror, I got a little mirror I keep in my bag just in case. And we did this thing at Fourth Rope Wrestling a while back. It was the most uncomfortable I've ever been trying to paint my face. I mean, photography and people videoing was all around me, and it was this little bitty mirror, and I was just trying to paint half of my face, but it was all so uncomfortable. But I got it done, and it was good enough for that evening. But no, it's really good when I can get away and just get in that little peaceful zone in a bathroom to myself and just have me in the mirror and the creation evolve.
Who's the person who walks into that bathroom with no makeup on their face, and who's the person who walks out with a full face of makeup?
It's definitely the charismatic enigma, Jeff Hardy, and the enlightened Jeff Hardy, I think, now more than ever, because I put that on and I just own it. I feel right at home. Okay, this is what I do. And there's something about being all painted up and, going out and just talking to people that's so normal. And a joke, that I do from time to time. All right, after a match is over, I say, all right, I'm about to go to the rodeo and distract some bulls. That's a good.
Here's this autograph. It was 2001, so you guys were promoting King of the Ring. And it was at a pizza in Pickering, Ontario, which is my hometown.
Oh my God.
And the line was so big, and they wanted the line to move so quickly, we weren't allowed to take photos with you guys. But I snuck a photo of you guys signing your autographs at Pizza.
Wow. That is such a pitiful looking autograph. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Compared to what it is now, and it can be done fairly quick, man. That's a rush job.
You only had like an hour or two, and there was a lot of people.
Man. Oh my goodness. I'd be glad. I got to give you an autograph painting, man, just to make up for that. Oh my gosh.
It's so funny how different your autograph looks compared to that.
Yeah, it's evolved like crazy. For the longest time, I didn't put the face, the little profile face in there. It was just the swirls with the J and the H. And my daughter's an amazing artist, man. She paints stuff really realistic. And she a couple years ago, she started working on her autographs. So she's got her own little. It's amazing to live vicariously through our children, and both of my daughters are just such amazing artists.
Look at the stack you had to sign there. Come on. It's not your fault that the autograph was rushed. Look at that stack of paper. Come on.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's a lot.
Oh my God. Yeah,
that's a lot.
There's no excuse for that, man. That is a big stack. And it just took me a while to make it what it is today. But I said it yesterday doing interviews. I was like, man, if nothing else, I might have in pro wrestling, I might have the coolest signature on planet Earth.
Ooh.
And I know that because it is just, and I feel that because it's completely unique and different.
Hard to argue with that, right? It really is.
For sure, man. Yeah.
I can't think of a better autograph than that.
Thank you, man. Yeah. And a lot of people, I know that people don't see things the way I see them, so I know it's not gonna. But I mean, for the most part, it's pretty amazing.
Has this ever happened to you? You sign up for something, the free trial ends, but you keep getting charged. Month after month, what? After month, what? After month after month. You've still got the subscription, but you're not using it. I just learned that 85% of people have a subscription that they don't use anymore. That all changes with Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps to find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. You can see all your subscriptions in one place, and you can know exactly where your money is going. And for subscriptions you don't want anymore, Rocket Money can help you cancel them. Rocket Money has over 5 million users, myself included, and they've saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. So cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster by going to rocketmoney.com/CVV. That's rocketmoney.com/CVV.
How do you see the world? People don't see things the way you see things.
I think I have an abstract mind, man, and I kind of see things in an abstract view, an abstract world.
Oh, you're gonna give? Hold on, you're gonna give me another autograph right now, apparently.
Oh yeah, cool.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, this will be great.
Let's see. How about? How about this guy? Maybe we've got to choose another color here.
Yeah.
Yeah. What color do you like to sign in?
This green might look good on this one.
Look at this. Now it's turning into art.
Maybe the pink will look good on this one.
Okay.
Maybe the pink and blue, you know.
Ooh.
I do a thing with Matt. A lot of times he'll do that little eye and I do the lips for me. And I say, man, you remember how to do the eye and the lips like when we were at these big signings.
You able to sign on your knees there?
Oh, yeah, for sure, man.
You want to sign on top of the old one?
That's what I'll do, yeah. This was so cool to do the retro Hardy that night. I was like,
no face paint.
No face paint.
Yeah.
That's old school Jeff Hardy, just from the tag team ladder match days.
That's like 2000 Jeff Hardy there.
Yeah, so that felt so good, man.
Autograph. I've seen you guys at these conventions many, many times. The line is huge. There's no line like a Hardy Boys line. And you spend this much time signing an autograph. It's amazing. You know how many wrestlers just do a quick little scribble?
I know, man. I always think back to when I think about scribbles. Flying Brian and Sting, we were in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and they were in a rush, got in their car, and Flying Brian's autograph was Brian Pillman. It was like a circle and a little scribble, and I was, oh my God, that's not an autograph.
Oh, we're getting the second color here. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. This is great. Yeah, I think that there's something about that. There's something about the idea of like you're meeting your hero, your legend, someone you've looked up to your entire life. And they're just going to give you a little squiggle with their wrist. And yet, hold this up to the camera.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's more along the lines of the way I sign it now.
Man, look at that. That's cool.
Yeah, so I take pride in autographs, man, especially. Did you want it personalized or?
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Oh my.
My one from 24 years ago was not personalized.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. This is the 17-year-old in me is getting very excited.
This is Chris.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Did you ever have a gimmick name when you were doing swantons in the backyard?
Chris Sharp. He's sharp talking, sharp walking, sharp dressing. Yeah. Chris Sharp versus Jeff Hardy. That would have been a pretty good match.
Oh yeah. Sure, the Battle of the Swanton.
It would have been first person to hit a swanton wins. A swanton match.
There you go. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. That's cool. Thank you. Yeah, it's hard to argue that there's a cooler autograph in wrestling.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. And I always think about Umaga, man. In my career, my most favorite feud, man, was with Umaga, and I had no idea that he used Posca markers to paint his face until I saw it one evening. I was like, whoa, what do you use to paint your face? Because I was just using some Halloween latex or the real greasy Halloween makeup just from Walmart or something. But from that point on, I ordered me some Posca markers, and that's why I can do the eyes on my eyelids.
Oh, man. I was heavily inspired by the Hardy Boys when I was a backyard wrestler. The Twist of Fate was my setup move, and the Swanton was my finisher.
Oh, wow.
But I'm sure you have a lot of people telling you that, like, oh man, I jumped off of a lot of high things because of you guys.
Man, we all the time, man. And we like, man, I used to jump off my bunk bed and break the couch and all this stuff. And my mom was so mad. And I broke my bone, my arm because of you, man. But it's so cool to hear that, oh my God, you were my childhood. We hear that so much.
So I'll show you. This is like a compilation. This is when I showed Matt some of this. But you'll see some of my backyard wrestling highlights come in there. And
This is probably where I saw the Swanton before.
yeah, let me know what you think of this Swanton Bomb.
You got it, man.
There's a few of them in there.
Did you ever do the 450?
Oh, I'm terrified to do something like that.
Really?
Into a pool, maybe.
Oh, okay. I always wanted to try that backflip leg drop. There we go.
What do you think?
Oh, that's a good form, man.
Okay.
Spinning DDT, twist of fate. Whoa. Drop kick to the back. This is action-packed, man. Wow. And y'all had tables out there, too?
We were just jumping off.
Oh.
We weren't putting people through them.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Very impressive, man.
And I'm just glad that I never got seriously injured.
For sure, yeah.
Somehow,
Thank
some
God.
way.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
too,
God.
right?
For sure, yeah. We started in the Trampoline Wrestling Federation. I think it was called Teens Wrestling Federation at first. Like the trampoline was actually a ring, but then we got more professional and called it the Trampoline Wrestling Federation because that's what it was. We were on a trampoline bouncing around.
On a trampoline, you're fearless. Like I can do a 450 on a trampoline.
Sure, yeah.
But anywhere else, no. Of course, I don't want to fall on my face.
Yeah, man, I think the last one I did, I thought I broke my shoulder. I kind of over-rotated. I think it was too cool or something. It was probably the last 450 I ever tried to pull off.
You've had such good luck in the ring. Like, it's actually pretty crazy to think that your major injury happened on a dirt bike, not in a wrestling ring.
Yeah, and the worst injury, that was the first time in my life that I could not get up on my own. And we had just won the TNA World Tag Team titles, and I'll never forget, my buddy was out there, he was filming it, and he came up and he said, oh man, you can walk it off, you can walk it off. No, I can't walk it off, I can't get up. I said, I thought both my legs were broke. It was just the impact was so, oh my God, so powerful. But my wife coming out there, and then, oh my God, do I need to call Dixie? And I said, yes, call Dixie. And I was like, oh my God, I just really screwed
like
up.
Like before an ambulance, call Dixie?
Yeah, I think it was before that. No, I think we'd already called 911. Yeah, for sure. My buddy called 911. And then naturally, Dixie needed to know what happened. And I think she might even have said, like, to post a video, which was smart, just because, I mean, I was going to take a while before I was healed from that. And it did. It was a good year, man, before I was able to just referee that match when Matt won the title from EC3, I think. I was the referee. I tried to paint up all the zebra stripes and all that. But my leg was still like throbbing so bad. So yeah, it took me a good year to come back from that. And it was way worse than any wrestling injury.
What's your worst wrestling injury?
Oh, there's not really one, man. I always just say like,
which is insane.
It is.
With the way that you wrestled your entire career.
Yeah, it is, man. There's not really, it might be, I would say like when I had to have rotator cuff surgery, but I just threw an uppercut and heard a pop. Like, and I was, oh my God, something happened. And that was my first surgery from pro wrestling. But I always say RVD, there's when I just admired and loved watching RVD and Sabu, in ECW. And that's like where the poetry in motion came from. And to be working with RVD, I just wanted to do something unique off a 14-foot ladder and go through the table vertical instead of sideways like you would normally put somebody through a table. And I remember like Vince was like, why do you want to do it like that? I've never seen anybody do it like this before. I just like to do it. But man, that table exploded, and I thought my back was all jacked up really bad after that. It just knocked the wind out of me, and I was like, they carried me out on a stretcher, but I was all right. But that's probably the most pain I've ever been in from a wrestling, any kind of wrestling move.
What's your relationship like with fear?
God, fear is part of the fun. I say that all the time, and that's from motocross. But I've never, just because it's you, I'll just share this story too. Being I've already mentioned, rehab and all that stuff. There was 3 new jumps I'd made on my motocross track, like right before I broke my tibia, and I was scared of all 3 of them. I just created it's kind of like, I always kind of viewed TLC matches like the X Games of pro wrestling. Like, we're going to create these obstacles and these situations, and we're going to conquer them. Like, I would conquer things on my dirt bike. These jumps I would create with my dirt bike. And the first two, man, they were so scary, but they went so smooth and so great. I've got the videos of them. I should compare them, like, at some point. But anyway, before those first two jumps I had 2 beers before each jump, just because I guess like the liquid courage deal or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, and they went so good. When I went to jump that 100-foot triple, I was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to wait till after I make this jump to drink 2 beers. And man, and I still tell myself, if I would have had them 2, I might have overshot that thing. Just because I would have been that little whatever liquid courage that would have went into my system might have gave me the belief to like make it over that jump. But who knows? I might not have, but I think I would have, because I did. I let off right at the tip of the jump, thinking I was going to overshoot it, and it was such a far gap. But yeah, I just wonder, like, something I can't change. But if I would have drunk 2 beers, I wonder if I would have broke my leg that night, that day, because it was, oh my God, it was so the worst injury I've ever had.
What's the most scared you've been in a wrestling match?
Definitely my first huge Swanton Bomb in my first run in TNA. It was the one against Abyss and Rhino, I think.
From the top of the stage?
It was over the stage, yeah. And I even, like, there was one little area, I don't think I told them that I was going to go up to it, but I just noticed an area about 3 foot taller that I might could get up to just make it more impressive. And I jumped over, God, I forget his name, the manager with the eyebrows.
James
Vander.
The Sinister Minister.
The Sinister Minister.
Yeah, Jim Mitchell.
And he was
James Mitchell, right?
Yes, yeah. And I, man, cleared it and hit. It was so scary, because when I got to that peak, I looked back down at like the monitor area where people were watching the show, and I was like, oh my God, this might be it, Jeff. This might be the end of your career. Let's go. And did it. And then I think I even made it back to the ring to take a power driver off the second rope from Rhino. But that was, I think, the scariest I've ever been.
Because that one's not just high, it's far. Like, so you're jumping out as well.
Yeah, and there was no padding, nothing either down there. It was just it might have been 2 tables. It might have just been 1 table. I can't remember. But luckily, man, it all worked out. And that's what I love about pro wrestling, because I do live for those moments when I'm scared of something, but then it goes so good. I was okay, that's what I do. That's why it was so exciting to wear that retro Hardy gear when we had the tables match with the system, and for it all to go so good. It's just, the possibilities in the future before my career is over. It's just, I'm super stoked about it.
Do you think about, what are you thinking about when you're in that moment, about to jump, about to do a swanton?
Dear God, please allow me to get up from this. Be with me, Holy Spirit. Great Spirit, please be with me through this. And the energy from the people too, I think is a strange connection I've always had. Just because, man, I've never really acted that much, in wrestling. It's always been me you see out there, a guy that paints his face and goes out there and just entertains people and don't talk that much. Just growing up kind of shy and just to myself, and I just always loved creating things, just whatever my brain and heart tells me to create. But yeah, it's just, I have such a good bond with the wrestling audiences for the most part. And naturally, I've heard that in a way throughout this time. And there's always going to be the disbelievers and the people that doubt me. But that's good. That's going to make it even better as long as I stay on the straight and narrow. I mean, nothing will stop me. You
said earlier that your swantons are hitting better now. What were they hitting like for a while?
It was the crouton bomb for the longest time. I was like killing people. I just could not control it anymore, and I didn't know. It must have been I was just too anxious to get to that next bottle or something. I don't know. It was out of control. But now, man, the poetry motion's back. Swantons haven't been croutons, so I'm in such a good place, man. And my wife and daughters, man, without them, I mean, I would not be here. They are my existence, man, for sure, and my world, in itself. So yeah, I'm glad I'm not croutoning people anymore. But every now and then, it's probably going to happen. I mean,
Have they been the ones who have really helped the most with your recovery?
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, just believing in me and not giving up on me. And I've wrote a lot about that in music. And I think I think something's happening in my brain to where I'm starting to understand range and tone a little more. Vocal lessons would really help, but man, I love and I say things differently too. I've noticed even when I was doing those journal entries and when I just write songs, okay, I say things a little differently, kind of like backwards sometimes, but this is good. This is who I am and what I do. But yeah, just them believing in me has been, oh my God, everything. If she would have left me, I mean, it was there. I would probably be dead, man, for sure. Especially after my dad. Like I said, she was such a hero and all that too. When I went in there to help my dad, she did some crazy things to be there for my dad, to get him through some tough times and, situations that are just a lot of trauma throughout all that time leading up to my dad's death. But yeah, she is, oh my gosh, she is the love of my life, and I'm so grateful for her. And my daughters, before the WWE came out with the women's tag team championships, I was like, man, I have the Hardy girls. They might be the first women tag team and they can literally be the Hardy girls. This might be cool. And then it was soon after that thought that WWE came out with the women's tag team championships. I was like, oh my God, it must be meant to be. They're going to be the Hardy girls.
Do they want to wrestle?
But they don't have any interest in it whatsoever.
And you're probably like, thank God.
And I'm like, hey, if y'all ever, even my oldest daughter, Ruby, like she's so creative and just beautiful and grown up. She's mentioned about like wanting to maybe get in a ring and try some stuff. So if she ever like gets serious about it, I mean, of course I'll that her and my youngest daughter will be the only people I'd probably ever train. I say that now, but just to give some secrets away to what's helped me along the way. But yeah, the way everything now, it don't seem like the Hardy girls are going to be a thing in the pro wrestling future.
When you say your wife believed in you so much, was there a point when you didn't believe in yourself?
Oh yeah, I think so for sure. And it was probably through that time with my dad, because as I mentioned earlier, I was 10 when my mom passed away from cancer, and I think she was diagnosed like a year later is when she passed away. And me, Matt, and my dad were right there in the hospital room when she took her last breath. And I've always thought, I was like, oh my God, especially now having kids, I was like, there's going to be a time. I was just so amazed at how he took care of us as a single parent and got us to where we needed to be to succeed in life, especially with this pro wrestling thing. Because at first, he had no idea why I was working my ass off landscaping, saving up to buy a ladder. He had no idea. And then destroying it. What are you doing? Why are you doing? That's a perfectly good ladder. but it ultimately, when we succeeded in wrestling and he started seeing the ladder matches, I mean, he was our biggest fan for sure. But when that time came, for me to take care of him, I did my best, but he was just he was ready to go. But he'll be the legend hero for the rest of my existence here, and I see it now as my human creators being out in the stars, man, and we will, my soul will reunite with them when it's time, and I believe that. I believe we're out there in the stars when we pass away, if we deserve an afterlife. So, I feel like I have a very enlightened soul and look, especially with this crazy world and social media now, like I try to use it a little bit, but I'm still kind of like afraid of it. I don't really understand it. And now, especially seeing Raw on Netflix, I'm like, oh my God, what is happening here? This looks so huge. And a friend of mine sent me a video package, and I was like, oh my God, of that night, the first Raw on Netflix. And I was like, oh my God, this is powerful. The future is here. And that's what it looked like. I was like, oh my God, this is the future. Like, where does it go from here?
Is it difficult? Because your name's Jeff Hardy. You wrestle as Jeff Hardy. They're one and the same. At the same time, they're also different people, right? Is it difficult because your life is on display as Jeff Hardy?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird too, because my personal life kind of became my professional life back in 08 and 09 with the, and that a lot of people, they are, that's messed up. They're going there, man. But I mean, in a way, I think it helped me, but also I looking back at it now, I go, oh my God, was that the right thing to do? Because that is my personal life. And now here we are in my professional. It's super interesting. Like me and the storyline and the feud with CM Punk was just so amazing. And that kind of helped make it that way because we were complete. opposites. But yeah, it's just like there's really no difference in Jeff Hardy. That's why I'm excited too. There's this alter ego of mine, alter Nero of mine, named Willow, and he appeared in TNA, my last run in TNA, and there's a new mask with a brand new face plate, and man, I haven't tried it on yet, but when I go pick it up, and if it fits real good, I'm sure I'm going to get excited about possibilities with, a way darker side of Jeff Hardy, or way more just spiritual, innovative character that Willow's never actually been in the past. The original idea with Willow is like nothing makes sense because he's not human. He's just some alien, and he's the god of my imagination. That's kind of where it all started. But for him to be like my dark passenger and kind of guide Jeff Hardy into this, different zone in pro wrestling, I think there might be something pretty powerful within that idea.
So that's something we might see this year in TNA?
I feel like it for sure, yeah. So if I throw up a Willow promo on social media or something and it's decent, I mean, that'll be the test, I guess, to see the feedback and then, go from there.
You delivered one of the hardest chair shots in the history of pro wrestling to Brock Lesnar. Walk me through what that was like.
Oh man, I had been taking the 3 power bombs so much, like night after night, and I just felt like it was my chance to get it in, and we were out there, and Matt followed up with a chair shot, but the echo in that building that night was just crazy. And then Matt followed up, and he just went out of the ring, and I was like, the adrenaline was flowing, because it was such a loud chair shot.
He didn't go down.
Yeah, he didn't go down because he is a beast of a man. But then I think after that, I found out through Paul Heyman that that was the first chair shot he had ever took to the head. And I was like, oh my God, I had no idea. But I guess I'm sorry. But
he's going to expect them to all be like that.
Oh my God. Gee whiz, thank
like
God.
You hit him like he owed you money or something.
It was almost this half a second of silence too in the building. People were like, oh. Yeah. It was like a time stop for a half a second there. Just it echoed through the building. Oh my God, that was extreme.
You've had a lot of those moments where time has stopped, it's gotten silent because people are like, is Jeff okay? You've probably had a few dozen of those moments.
Yeah, for sure. And I still, I think me being older now, I'm 47 years in, and even I've always took pride in selling, and I've always said, I shine when I sell, man. Just get into the heat quick, I'm that kind of guy, and then I'll make a killer comeback. And it's worked for me, man. It's worked. How to exaggerate reality just right, and that's another thing I'm really excited about with the Rascalz. I've been watching some of these matches that they've had, and all these combos they do, and just trying to envision some counters, and it's going to be super interesting. Genesis, and I feel like it's going to be the genesis of a new Hardy vibe as well.
There's a little bit of Hardys in what they do, I feel like. Maybe it's all like a new generation of Hardys. So you put you guys in there with the Rascalz. That's going to be good.
Yeah, for sure. It's exciting, man. Yeah, I look forward to Genesis being the first big main match of 2025. And oh my God, by the time January 2026 rolls around, who knows where TNA is going to be at, how good the shows are going to be, how much it's evolved and grown, and what are Matt and Jeff Hardy like. I as pro wrestlers, we manifest all the time, and that's one thing in recovery. This go around, I really studied meditation and really took time to learn about meditation, just out of fear of having to do a long stint in prison. And so I really, now I finally understand what meditation is, just giving your brain a break. And when you can do that, now I'm able to do it so kind of flawlessly, and being out in nature, it helps a lot. But just, man, 30 minutes can feel like 2 minutes, man. When I get in that zone of actually giving my mind a break from all the daily stressors and worries that all of us human beings have. But meditation is huge. And along with meditation, I kind of manifest as well. I think about my wrestling future and what I would like to achieve and visualize. And I see it exactly like it's going to happen. And it's been so far so good. Well, things I've seen they end up like coming into reality, and they're just like I saw them before.
What does it look like right now? Do you think about how much longer you can do this?
Not at all. No, I just said a joke a few weeks ago at this show we did, and my humor's different too. Even at my music shows, I'm like, I know a lot of people don't get my humor, and it can be, I guess it can be dark at times, but I just said that, by the time I'm 50, I might, go back to the E and, retire CM Punk, and then maybe go in the Hall of Fame. But there was things like it was, like that was seriously what I'm manifesting, which is not the case at all. I just said that thinking I was being funny. And I think that was right after I painted my face so uncomfortably in front of all those people.
But everybody took that as gospel.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy says he's going to retire CM Punk.
Yeah, and that becomes like a real, no, but I didn't mean that at all. I just thought it might be funny.
But it could happen.
And yeah, and the reality is it could happen, man. Because our feud, man, still, I get so many compliments on that, man. With people that are adults now, say, oh man, that's you and Punk, the feud was amazing. So even in AEW, I felt like there was a moment for me and Punk, like at least just some kind of face-off or uncomfortable, like us running into each other in the backstage or something. But we never got to do that. But man, ultimately, I would love to revisit that feud in some way. And who knows, man, if CM Punk is such a superpower in the pro wrestling game. But man, if Jeff Hardy getting sober made him like an asshole, I mean, come on, Jeff Hardy against the one and only popular CM Punk. I mean, I feel like that's completely possible.
Well, there's a working relationship with TNA and WWE. It seems completely plausible that the Hardy Boys would be in WWE at some point this year.
Yeah, for sure. And man, it's there's never been a real heel Hardy run, and I was so excited about that in AEW. But I know I own what I've done, and it was my fault. I really let Matt down with the whole AEW thing. I think even AEW, man, before I broke my nose wrestling Sammy Guevara, man, my thinking was like, man, we're not being used. What if I can be like a heel on social media and send out some tweets? And it evidently wasn't professional. But again, it's not like I was being serious. I just said something like, Collision was designed for punks, and that but I ended up getting 3 matches out of that with Swerve Strickland, John Moxley, and then Sammy. And in that match, in all those matches, I had that feeling, that passion. I could feel it again within myself. I was, oh my God, I love this. I got a lot more left in the tank. And I experienced that, but then naturally injury happens, and my nose was broken. Naturally, that was going to take a while to heal, and things just worked out the way they worked out. And I'm so glad to be back in TNA, and super excited, man, because TNA has been there for me in dark times, man. When I left the pro wrestling world in 2009 and got in my situation, man, TNA employed me and they supported me, and oh my God, like I said earlier, 2012 was one of the best years of my career. I was from sobriety. I was doing really good. And I just eventually eased into that drinking alcohol again. It took a while, but it slowly caught up to me and got me.
Was 2012 such a great year because 2011 was not?
Probably, yeah. It took the little, as everybody knows, the thing with Sting, my hero, that, oh my God, the embarrassment from that. I was really able to go home and get straight before my conviction from the arrest in 2009. And God, just coming back from that, it was such a good feeling to know that I still could offer TNA a lot, and I still had a lot left to prove. But yeah, that's definitely why, because 2011 was, all that was stressful leading up to that conviction. So I needed to go home for a while, and yeah, my daughter had just been born too. So it was, that's definitely what made it such a good year, because 2011 was still kind of dark.
Do you remember anything from Victory Road?
I remember going out there, and I remember just Sting roughing me up and like throwing me to the mat. So I remember, and naturally we say like he shot on me, but Eric Bischoff told him to pin me because I was a zombie. And it was obvious when you watched the tape, face paint, and I was kind of MIA throughout that whole evening. Me and Sting had talked about this one killer spot I was going to do. It was something like the Twist of Hate with the head in the chair. but I was going to take his finish, the reverse thing, in a chair. And I was scared of that because I was, oh my God, I'm going to break my neck. I don't know if I should do this. But anyway, and yeah, I remember like sobering up after that, and Jeff Jarrett and even Hogan, man, and knowing I had to go home and get straight. And they gave me another chance, man. When I did go back, I did this song called Resurrected, and Bruce Pritchard was there, I believe, and he made me go in the locker room and apologize to everybody. And I don't think I've ever been that nervous in my life. I was so nervous in front of all of these professional wrestlers that I admire and love so much, but I had to go in there and just, say I'm sorry for what I did on pay-per-view. And but that was good for me. It helped me heal, and so I just moved on from there and had a really good 2012. But yeah, such a dark time with Sting. And Sting, every time I've seen Sting since, I mean, he's just such a good dude and such a support. And yeah, so I've just had a lot of dark times from the alcoholism and the drug addiction stuff. It feels good to be on the other side of that. And
you're an amazing redemption story, because when you think about your lows were really low, but your highs have been really high as well.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what's so exciting about, I think, life right now. When I do get up in the mornings, and I'm a big ice bather now, and I've been doing it for about 2 years.
Yeah.
I was about a year sober when I did my first ice bath, and I stayed in for about 2 or 3 minutes and went under and just held my breath for as long as I could. Came out of the cold water and stood up, and I was like, whoa. Wow, there was something about this. My head, even if I was like, whoa, this is okay. I might start doing this on a regular basis. And now I don't do them every day. I do them every other day for sure. But oh my God, I haven't got used to it at all after 2 years. I still hesitate sometimes to get in that cold water, especially even the other day at home. It was raining outside, and I've been doing it in my pool because my pool is crazy freezing now. And I said, I'll go out there in the rain and the cold water, and it'll be good spiritually out there with nature and all that stuff. And it took me forever to go out there, but I just went out there and dove in, did a little swimming, and that it was so uncomfortable. And then just kind of meditated for 3 or 4 minutes and got out, and I felt so much better. I was ready to conquer the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a huge believer in ice baths.
Yeah, after a cold plunge, you feel like you could fight a bear. Like, it's just that dopamine hit is crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And even, man, when you and Matt talked about the kangaroos, I was the first one, and it was so surreal. Yeah. I had to do it first, and I locked up.
You fought a kangaroo,
Smoking Joe, and he was jacked, man, and I was. And he locked up really good. It was like a legit lockup, and I'm sitting here looking this kangaroo in the eye, and oh my God, what are we doing? Then he started kicking me to the knee. He started kicking my knee, and we were still locked up, and his head was so still and zoned in on me, and oh my God, that was such.
Well, it's not fun for him, right? Like,
yeah,
it's serious business for him.
Torture or trauma for him. It's like, what are these humans doing to me? But just the footage from that, and one of my funniest moments of the Broken Universe, without a doubt, was when Matt went around with Smoking Joe. If you still watch it, you can see it. Matt was in that gold kind of Egyptian get up, and he said, punish me, Joe, punish me. He said, punish me, and I fell out. Oh my God. Jeremy Barash was such a genius with the way he saw everything, and God, and there was even a point eventually to where I was going to be more like Broken Matt, and some footage is probably somewhere, but that never aired. But it was, I think it's this song called Redemption I had just started writing. And I was singing Redemption to a donkey, I think, like right in his face. And I was sitting here with the donkey after all this stuff, and I was going, "The you unknown now surrenders me." And we're eye to eye. And I'm not sure what the outro was like on that, but yeah, I was singing to a donkey, but that never aired because.
Well, you need to put that out somewhere.
Yeah, if it's still, definitely, because it felt super insanely good.
It's great seeing you back in TNA because, like you said, TNA has been willing to give you opportunity after opportunity, and now I feel like you're able to give back to TNA when you're in a headspace where you're really able to do it.
For sure, yeah, and that's why I'm so grateful for for TNA, and I think everything did work out exactly how it was supposed to with me being able to go back. And there was even one moment when I found out Matt went back to TNA, and I watched the footage, and I was like, oh God, maybe I need to stay with AEW to continue to prove myself. Then really have some of these killer matches. Some of these guys are on a different level with these matches they're having. But then I was like, wait, what? I had such a good run in TNA last time, and the merchandise they came out was so cool. I started doing the eyelid paint, and everything was so good the last time in TNA. There were so many innovative bumps I did throughout that run, and I was like, no, this is exactly the way it's supposed to be. So naturally, I called Matt and agreed to show up. And but yeah, this time I'm glad I didn't try to run and do the juke at the same time. That's one of I can't believe I still to this day. Why would I try to juke and run, saving my brother, my first time in AEW? It's so bizarre. And I've even practiced it since to see if it's possible. And I don't think it's not smoothly possible at all.
Well, people were like, does he really want to save him or does he want to dance?
Yeah. Oh, my God. So that was crazy. So, yeah, when I returned to TNA, it was kind of stone cold time, just out with a new thing. I painted a chair. Me and my daughter painted a chair when I came back to AEW. And to see that chair in an action figure now, it's kind of immortalized, and it's just so, oh my God, it's so rewarding because the hairs on the little man on the chair, my daughter Nira, said, "Can you paint some hairs on his chest?" And that I took my time with that one, so it's really like good looking. But to see that in an action figure, man, that was so cool. So I painted a chair that day when I returned. So that was my thing, and I just came out with the chair and just cool, calm, cool, and collective, and here I am, total nonstop action. I was back.
Before we wrap this up, Devon recently told the story of WrestleMania 18. You guys are both up there hanging on. He's terrified of heights. Take me to that moment where you're both hanging up there before the spear off the ladder.
Man, that was even in that first tag team ladder match. I think I had that in my mind. If a human being could hang up there on that thing, I'd been seeing that for a long time, if that was even possible. So that was the night we got to actually to do it, and two people to be up there, and or I think maybe the spear was the first thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess there were different spots. Yeah.
The spear was the first time I seen up there. But anyway, with Devon, we're like two humans were holding on to the thing up there, and he took such an impressive bump. I just saw that recently.
Yeah, it was pretty clean.
Media, how he got so flat and went down. I was kicking the hell out of him. I think we were in North Carolina too, and that might be why I was so excited. But I think it just artistically it looks so cool when he does take the bump, and I'm just kind of spinning there, and then Edge and Christian hit me with the ladder. But yeah, props to Devon on taking a killer bump. But what a moment for me! And he was no, stop it! I'm not ready. Those moments.
If you ever loved me.
Yeah, and I was like, kind of upper body jacked and. Hanging on up there like real strong and kicking him. But yeah, watching back, that was a breakthrough moment for TLC matches. That was a memory for the books.
Talking about that other moment, did you think that it was even possible to land a clean bump off of that spear from the ladder?
Oh, for sure, 100%. I knew it was gonna be scary. The scariest thing was like over rotating and landing on my head.
Yeah.
I think, but the way all that worked out, Bubba pulling that ladder back, and then that gave me the little momentum into Edge, and Edge really took care of me. He really grabbed on, but it was just so impressive, man. It's so cool to hear like Ric Flair. He'll say, "Oh my God, that spot was so amazing," and it has been immortalized in professional wrestling. You see it replayed all the time. Even watching Netflix, the first Raw on Netflix, I was like, "Oh, that bump's got to be in there." But I don't think the spear was in there, but there was I think when I swanton Spike Dudley and Rhino, it was in there. And I was like, oh, God, yeah, I'm a little microscopic piece of this show. So that was pretty cool to see.
You might be more than you might be a bigger piece of that show at some point in time.
For sure, man. And speaking about recovery, man, I don't know if I'm sure you realize this, but in your phones, we're always deleting pictures, and but then when you delete something that shouldn't have been deleted, you can go back and review it before it's deleted if 30 days passes by or something. And it says recover, you can recover. So I've had this in my brain for a while, and I've even wrote out some ideas for a match, but it's kind of like a spinoff from the final deletion, but it would kind of be like switching roles to where it would kind of be my deal, and it would be called the final recovery. But so who knows, man? The possibilities are so exciting, and I'm gonna keep writing, ideas out and keep seeing these images in my head, and that's what I love about the craft of pro wrestling, because when you can see something, you can manifest, and you really manifest it and bring it into a show in front of thousands, millions of people. I mean, that's just so rewarding, and I was definitely born to be a professional wrestler, and I know that now more than ever. So
I know that gratitude's a big part of your life. It's a huge part of my life as well. And that's what we're going to wrap this up on. By the way, thank you for everything.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Great to be able to sit down with you 14 years later. 14 years since our first interview together.
Yeah, was that in Detroit?
It was in Cleveland.
It was in Cleveland.
In what looked like a boiler room, back alley looking thing.
There was like a cave, or not a cave, but a fence that looked like a cage. Oh yeah, I remember that. And I do remember the Ring of Honor after seeing that clip. I kind of remember that. I was kind of in Brother Nero headspace with that. That's it.
But what are 3 things in your life you're grateful for as we sit here right now, Jeff?
Oh God, 3 things I'm grateful for. Man, it's just, health is naturally one, but it's got to be my family. My wife, my daughters. Those 3 human beings are 3 things that I need to survive and live on. And so I'm so thankful for my family. For sure. I couldn't do none of this without them. If they'd have gave up on me, I would have for sure gave up on myself.
I love that. Well, so good to see you.
You too, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I'm grateful for Earth too. Like Earth is kind of God in a sense when I think about life and the sun and the moon. Earth is definitely a sphere because the sun and the moon appear to be a sphere. And it's got to be a sphere. All these flat earthers. Anyway, Earth, I'm just very grateful to be on this planet. At 47 years old.
Yeah, I love that. What a great way to end it.
Oh, thank you, man.